Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live stream where I'm using Touch Designer again, not Blender for today. I've been having a little bit too much fun in Touch Designer. Let's see if the stream is working okay. Audio seems to be working okay. Music might be a little bit loud, so I'll tone it down by a notch or two. That seems to be good. But yes, Touch Designer has been a whale of a time. And I finally got a nice little Fractal project working. This was ported from the NPR branch of Blender because, well, in that we had the repeat zones. But yeah, it was weird porting something from nodes to GLSL code. It wasn't that bad. There were a few points where I was like, oh wait, I forgot to get this variable instead of this one. But as we can see, it works pretty well, and I am currently controlling this with my little USB controller right here, so it can move around. The one downside is that the orientations do not align with the or the forward and backward side to side doesn't align with the rotation, so that's in global space. So no matter where I move the camera or rotate it, it will do that, which is very disorienting, which I will need to change. But speaking of that, this is how I control the camera. So we have a joystick input here, you know, pretty basic stuff, just all that. And then I put in a lag so that it has a little bit of ease, which is very nice. This node is very convenient. I should really make that in Blender. But yeah, after that, I just select the ones that we'll actually need, up, down, side to side, all that good stuff. And then we use a feedback chop. Now, the feedback chop is quite different than the feedback top, the texture version versus the channel operator, where you just, like, put in the link up here and make a cyclic thing like this, which feels very weird than the top where you just drag a node into the feedback and then it's bound to that. But I guess it's a little more straightforward, but it was a little bit weird because I looked it up and I was like, wait, how do you do it? Do you just, oh, I just put it there. Okay. But yeah, I guess we'll look into the GLSL code and start modifying a few things soon. I'm just going to go and explore this area a bit. Again, I don't know what fractal this actually is. All I know is that it looks pretty cool, and the lighting actually works okay. Soft shadows, look at that. But yeah, let's take a look inside of the code. So this was mainly done in GLSL. So step one is that I have a ton of uniforms, which in Touch Designer are bound to all these in the vector tab. So we have the joystick, which is input from the null, which I multiply by 0.1, which I should multiply the channel values being put into the feedback loop, but this just was more convenient, so I did it that way. I have stuff for like the general camera offset. That was before I had the controller all hooked up. Input 2, which, what was this again? I should really name that. Okay, so that controls some parts of the fractal. Here, let me go and move the camera so that's a little, we can view the entire thing. The light center is right in the middle there. You can see the mouse, right? Just double checking. Yes, you can. Very nice. Okay, so the light position is right there and all that, which I can manipulate that, so we can move the light up, down, side to side. It currently is a point light because that's pretty simple to do. And sunlights, I can do those as well, but it could collide with the fractal if it's up there. Though speaking of that, let's go and change the fractal. So let's go and hide the inputs right here just to simplify everything. So here we can see if I manipulate this, the fractal becomes a little more detailed and a little cooler, though the lighting is a bit messed up, granted. Let's go and Control Z that and then manipulate some of the other parts. So here we can do this, we can do that. Hopefully this is big enough on the screen, even with some of the nodes in the way. I can't, as far as I know, you can't full screen Touch Designer outside of the perform mode, like when you actually want it to be borderless and all that. But I want the UI, but I just wanted to hide the Windows part down here and the top part right there, which is eliminated by OBS and just leaves a very nice buffer region at the bottom. But yeah, let's go down and move it back. Okay, so yeah, let's go into the code, because again, this came from Blender and now is in that. Also, I need to check the thumbnail. My thumbnail is blending live. So that's fun. That's false advertising. I need to go and fix that real quick. Let's just go and do a quick little fix with a screenshot. Change. Okay, real quick, thank you for bearing with me. There we go. Very, very nice. But yeah, okay, the code, enough dawdling. And let's go and set that back, turn that off, and look into here. So, okay, we get our uniforms in here, that's all good. And then we have the output, which is fragment color. And then we have a wrap function, which was... I found a one-dimensional or two-dimensional version online, and I just converted it to be 3, which was very easy. 3D vector rotate, found this one online as well, which is very nice. So just copy and paste that into your code, call it a day. And then here is the actual ray march function. So this is the part that runs all the ray march stuff, even though I should probably separate the fractal into its own function as well, because that would probably be a good idea. But this part's small enough, so that's okay. So right here, for those of you who don't know GLSL code, this is just, well, forgot where I got some of this from a tutorial, but then I just followed what I did in Blender, where basically you have a for loop that runs 128 times, and then with the fractal, well, in this case, I clamped the position, and then, let's see, yeah, okay, let's look into this a little bit more, because it's been a couple hours since I've looked into it. Okay, let's move this up to here. So first, I go and clamp the position that's input, just to make it so that the fractal doesn't repeat vertically. That's what that does. And then I note that as wrap position, because this position will be wrapped later. Even though, in hindsight, I really should have changed the naming on that. I can do a cleanliness pass later. But then here, we actually wrap the position inside of this for loop, which is the repeating pattern of the fractal. So I can show this off by looking over here. So if I reduce this to be, let's say, 5, we can see that there's a lot less detail going around, a lot less iterations and all that fun stuff, but it is still working. We just get to see into the void quite a bit more. Let me move this back here a bit more. So let's set this to be, let's just up it to be, say, 8. We can see that that fills in a lot more, just because we're doing more repetitions in the actual fractal. Actually, let's set this to something ludicrous like 50. I want to see what that looks like. Okay, so the difference is quite negligible. But if I were to get closer, we would see that the detail is there. It's just a little indiscernible with the pseudo-subsurface scattering that I implemented. Okay. So we have that, so the wrap position gets wrapped by the value that we put over to here. That's the main part of the fractal. And then there is W distance, which is the input.x. Again, this is just that part. Again, a lot of this are just magic values that I had in Blender, and I don't remember why I did them. But we have that, and then we dot the wrap position by itself to get the squared distance, I believe that is. So this would be 24 divided by the squared distance of the position, or squared length. Same difference. And then we multiply the wrap position by the W distance, which I could just go and do this to simplify it. There we go. And then we multiply the W by the W distance. And then the output SDF is the length of the wrap position multiplied by 0.25 divided by W. Again, that's what I had in Blender. Not entirely sure why I did that, but I just moved that over to here. And then to actually offset to do the ray marching offset, we just increment the distance and the position by the SDF out, and then this one is multiplied by the ray direction. And then one of the ray march examples had this little condition where if the distance is small enough, it'll break. But as we can see, that breaks everything. So I just turn it off. Actually, I could just delete it, though. Maybe it's just that the distance is way too small. And it's still okay. I'm just gonna eliminate it. A little bit simpler, a little bit less code. Okay. So with that function done, now we go to the main function, where we get the UV map, we do like the ray origin, the ray direction, and then we also rotate the ray direction to align with the controller right here, and then we get the distance origin, and we set that to a small value. Could that be 0, or did I set that to that while I was debugging? Yeah, that's okay. And I could just eliminate this, and oh wait, no, we do have to actually set it. Okay. And then we get the position, and then we actually do the ray march. So we run the ray march world function with the position, ray direction, the offset, which is 0, which controls like the subsurface scattering in quotes, and then the distance is output. And then I noticed that the hit position is that because we can use that for shading later. And then for the lighting, we just run the same thing, but the modified position, light direction, for the ray direction, and with a small value for our subsurface scattering value. If I change that to be less, we see that there's a lot less subsurface scattering happening. Now, is it actually doing that? No, it just looks like it. And if we set it to be very, very little, we can see that the world looks much more harsh, which, you know, while it does show so much detail, just doesn't feel as good. So we just do that to give it a little bit of softness, and it looks quite nice in my opinion. Again, let's go up, move it over. And again, all of this is doable in Blender. That's where it originated from. It's just that I had to use the NPR branch because of the repeat zones, which hopefully we get repeat zones in the shader editor in the near future. But seeing how constants are not a thing in the shader editor, it might be a long time. Might be a long time. But yeah, I should probably port this to shader toy as well, because again, GLSL, it should be like a breeze. I would just have to change like the UV input and then, you know, make it, you know, do whatever. Forget how they do uniforms, but just a little bit of editing and it should be fine. Did you see the volume grids in 5.0? Volume grids have been experimental for quite a while. I'm not unsure if they got like a major update recently. As far as I know, no. I haven't seen any PRs about that. But I might give them a look. But they seem to be very experimental. And they've been experimental for a while. I just haven't really seen development with it. But I would have to check up on that again. Yes. Okay, so let's go and change some of the outputs here. So here, instead of that being the square distance, yada yada, I'm going to make it be the position? Yeah, let's try the position. Or maybe hit position would be better. Or what did I label that? Hit position. So let's go and do that. So this should be the actual position of the fractal in 3D space. So as we can see here, we can move around and it shows all that. I can fraction the value as well, but this looks cool by itself. So I'm just going to go and surf around a little bit. And I could multiply this with the lighting value as well. But let's go and move over here. Actually, yeah, I should go and just label that as the lighting value. So there's right there. So yeah, this one will be a float, even though I could multiply it with, this will be light 1. So we have that, and I could multiply the two together, again simplifying all that. So let's just go and do that. Yeah, let's do that just for a little bit of cleanliness. If you're wondering why I'm making that a vector 3 instead of a float, that's because I could potentially store some color into that, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, now that the orientation is messing with me again. Should limit my rotations to a minimum. Oh, I should absolute the hit position. That is a good idea. And I should be doing all my code editing in like VS Code, but it's just more convenient here, and I can record it with OBS easily. Here we have that, and I could divide the value, or I can fraction it, because it seems to be a little bit harsh. But again, we can see that it just, you know, we get the shadows, all that works just fine. Actually, no. We need to divide that by a lot. Or normalize it. But no, I think it's normalized essentially by the hitting the cap there. Times 0.01, which I may have to turn that into a vec 3 if I had to guess. So let's go and do that. Please work. Maybe not 0.01. That's all right. Oh, it looks like it's getting brighter as it's going away because of that. So I just need to normalize or just give it a color. Yeah, let's not use the hit position. Let's go and use a vec3. So vec3 equals, let's do 1, 0, 0, so that we can get a nice red value. That's a bit too much, being honest. One thing that I do want to try is using a feedback loop. See how that affects the ray marching steps. Because right now, it's all happened, like all the ray marching steps are happening per frame, which isn't horrible. Let's see. Let's change the color here to be, where is the color once again? Let's set this to be 0.5. Let's see, 0.5. Doesn't look great. Let's go and make the blue values a bit more and the red values a bit less. So 0.5. Oh, no, that's an ugly blue. Or no, it's not bad, it's just drab. Let's see. Set this to be 1. Okay, yeah, it's okay. What I need to do here, okay. So what I need to do is just handle the color outside of this. So we're just going to use the light one for the output. And then we're going to use a ramp. Right, that's what it is. We can use a ramp right here. Let's put you into there. Turn that off, turn this one on, and then not use... Oh dang, how do I use a ramp again here? Data... Oh. That. Can I ramp actual data in here again? Because this one's just multiplying from there, extend right now. Pre-multiply, nope. Dang, I'm assuming that this has to be like the color, but I don't know what the color key is at the moment. Oh well, that's unfortunate. I could do a hue saturation. Yeah, let's do an HSV. Adjust. A ramp would be better because I want to make the low values lower. Oh wait, and then I would need a reorder to... Or let's do, let's use a level. There we go. Well, I do want the dark parts to be hue shifted. I think that... Okay, let's go and change that. Now that's the simplest way to do all this, but again, I want the low values to be huge. Oh, that actually works quite well. The low values just to give it a little bit of light. It's almost okay. Almost. But not quite. It's decent enough. I need to desaturate the light as it gets closer, but I should probably just do that in the GLSL part. Let's see. Yes, the grid nodes are useful. I've combined your trail node with the velocity coming from the volume data, and I used a VDB from Embergen. Oh, okay. So you can import external data and all that. I've sent you an Instagram story showcasing it. I don't use Instagram all that much. I don't use it, even though I probably should. I've been playing around with ray marching and world shaders recently. I really wish Blender had loops and shaders. Yes, that's why when I made this originally, it was in the NPR branch, because it did have repeat zones, loops, and the shaders. And actually the speed was comparable. I'm running this at 512 by 512, but if I did 1024 by 1024, it would lag to a similar degree as the NPR branch. And that was with OpenGL Eevee, not even Vulkan Eevee. So again, we're just being limited by essentially the UI. Because we could go and make this in Blender, but it would just be so annoying because it would be 100 node groups of the same thing, when a loop would just be very efficient. I wonder why they haven't added that yet. I think it's probably to do with just the shader editor needs an overhaul. It doesn't have constants, which means that we can't use like texture sockets. So I'm assuming stuff like the iteration counts would be one of the constants, though I'm not sure about that whatsoever. I should make a uniform for... Okay, I need to do a few changes to this. So again, input 2, this will be... oh, what should I label this? Fractal inputs 1. Fractal inputs 1. Yes, that is a very nice name for it. I'll plug you into there. And now I need to find every single place where input 1 is associated. Let's see, that should be... No, that's camera rotation. 2, light 1, no. Should be... Where would you be? We go, and is that all? Nope, there's another one. Let's see what line with the code that is in. Input to level, or code line 7.x, and then this one is dot. Okay, there we go. We're back. Very nice. And I'm going to use the third input here for the... Which one? Ah, right here. So this will be inputs 1.y. So that'll be 0, and as we increment or decrement... Oh wait, that was y? No, that needs to be z. There we go. So now, that's light position. We set this to be something very low. There we go. So now the subsurface scattering is apparently more, because I am literally warping the distance that this thing can run on. Or, yeah, that the light runs on. So the surface is still, you know, mostly opaque, or mostly solid, but the light just transmits easier. There we go. We can set it to be less, and if we set it to, like, close to 0, you can see that's nearly, like, it's so detailed. You can see all the little parts there. And if I can move, the camera is not aligned with the rotation, and that is incredibly frustrating. Again, I haven't put in the effort to actually changing that. Go over here. Look at all that detail. But again, it just looks better with a little bit of scattering on it. Up, over. And let's go and lower it up by a bit more, and then do that. And I could make it so that audio reacts with, like, the wrap values. So I could make it so that it's more like that. Yeah, I could do so much in real time. Though again, the fractal is rather expensive. So, I guess I can try, at the very least... Well, that might not be a good idea, though. Could try making a feedback loop to run the Raymarch steps instead of... Might be an awful idea, though. And no, that would be an awful idea. Unless, wait, let me look this up real quick. Does Touch Designer GLSL have a feedback option? Feedback without having to use the actual feedback node, keeping everything inside of the GLSL. There's currently an open PR for the shader repeat zone. It's number 141098. Interesting. I hope it makes it. Though, I'm assuming that's like half a year old at this point. Or maybe even more. I say that because I think I heard somewhere that there's something else blocking features like that from being merged officially. Because they could have done it already. Seeing how it worked so well in the NPR branch, and it wasn't tied to the NPR branch. 2 days old. Oh, okay. Just ignore everything I just said about that then. Okay. 2 days old, not bad. Okay. Yeah. What else can I do? Okay, let's go and try some audio stuff to manipulate some of the values. So let's go and get a audio in. So where is audio device in? There we go. So we have that. Let's just go and throw an analyze on it because I saw someone do it and it seemed to work out pretty well. There we go. That just makes it a bit easier to see what's going on. And I can change this to be, oh, what was it? Little peaks, duplicates? Or was it some? I think it was some that helped. So whenever I talk more, we'll see that that happens. But it's so wobbly. Though I could throw in a nice lag node and call it a day. That could help a lot. Oh, I accidentally copied both of these when I just want one. So testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's change this to be 0.5 because I just want to get rid of the very annoying wobbling. And it is trying. Maybe I just need to multiply by more. Let's set it to be 0.2 again. Actually not sure why there are two values here. Maybe be seconds. Yeah, why are there two values here? Maybe for it going up and the other one for it going down? I would assume. Never mind my last comment. I think that is something else. Ah, okay. Oh, it was 2 days ago? Oh, hello, Quackers. How's it going? It was 2 days ago. Apparently they're settling for using a property for the iteration count in place of a constant, so you can't plug socket values into it. Ah, okay. We need those constants. Like, Blender shader editor, while it is nice, it's not... It just doesn't feel production ready. It just doesn't. Because it's like, oh, we need an asset where we need these values just plugged into there and it's fine and it just works. It just doesn't feel ready for it. Because it's like, oh, if you have an asset, you need to go inside the node group and then change this and then it'll propagate to everything else. Yeah. Yeah, because as you pointed out, shader nodes not supporting constants is kind of a blocking problem for it. Yeah. And the compositor has gotten... Ooh. Oh, I forgot about going inside of these little domes. Oh, those always look amazing. Actually, yeah, let me go and play around with the some of the effects here a bit more. Here we go. Let's go and bring this over to... What was it again? There, and as a chop... Oh my gosh. I apologize for the epilepsy right there. Okay, there we go. So now this will be modified by the audio, but let me go and turn up the lag here for a bit. Let's see. It is still function. Nah, I should use the feedback because I do have extra values I can feedback. So let's delete you, just eliminate that, eliminate you, and eliminate you. I can use, which one are you? You are P1X. So let's go and put P1X into here, which means that we can now stack up those values into feedback. Let's go and pulse the reset for the feedback. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now let's put that into here. So, back to channel 1. Oh, right, we need to make this the null. And yeah, let's just use a quick little drag and drop into there. Top reference plus 24. There we go. So now, there we go. Much better. Now, dynamically do all this. Such fun. Let's go here, make it a bit less and a bit more. I wish I had more controllers here. Like, I could just use keyboard keys for this, but actually that might be a good idea. But no, here it's more convenient because I could go down and up so easily. Let's see. Looks kind of like broccoli, or oh, what was... There's a fruit that looks... It looks very fractal-y. Let's see. For the wrapping... Do that, or I could do more of... Yes, okay. Oh, but there's not enough resolution to support all of... Like, okay, another thing with this, because I'm doing it by default, we don't have Blender's automatic anti-aliasing working, which is a shame. So again, I'm running this in 512 by 512, and we don't have anti-aliasing, so it sucks a little bit, but I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Also, I can change the FOV. So which one is this? Yes, it's that one. With this value, I can adjust the field of view. So we can look inside of here and have a very, very wide angle to our quote-unquote lens. Or we can go and up it by a lot and have a very narrow, like almost orthographic. Oh, look, we can look into the distance. And bring it back down and set it back to a reasonable level, like 1. I think, yeah, 1 is reasonable. Right there. Could make this so much more, but I don't have the normals for this project either, which maybe I should actually put effort into implementing that. Feels like it would be so incredibly expensive. Actually, no, well, would it? Or it depends on how I do it. Yeah, let's go and change the wrapping. So let's go and hide all of that. I really love how you can just directly look at all this with that. Very convenient. Let's go here and yeah, there we go. So here we're seeing almost the full fractal. So if we go and... maybe I should change the output to just be the... looks like the lighting might be glitching a little bit. Let's go and adjust to you so that you're more like... oh my god. Again, looking at an entire galaxy's worth of detail here. So if I just turn off the clamp, which I need to... we have clamp position. Or... I'll make it clamp V for clamp value because position implies, you know, position and all that. Clamp V. So this is actually clamp position. This is, this one is clamp position, and then we feed clamp position into the vec. Oh, it, just eliminated that. Ah, okay, no, we're back. That was weird. Yeah, let's make this clamp V for clamp value. That one's just negative and negative. There we go, so that works well, and we're just going to increase you to 100. So we can just see eternity. There we... oh, this is a bit more impressive than the other one. We can just keep moving around forever. Apparently. Though I don't know where the light's coming from, because it should all be blocked, shouldn't it? Yeah. Or maybe the subsurface scattering is a bit much, and that's causing that. I don't know. Oh, let's do, oh no, we can't. Here, let's light this with the hit position. Here, it'll be hit, fraction, hit position. Go. It's a bit much, but actually, let's divide that by a good amount. Hit position divided by 10. There we go, that's a bit better. Let's go and move this so that we can actually see what's going on again. So let's try to find our way back home. There we go, so we need to head this way. Let's keep our heads forward so that it doesn't hurt my brain, and we need to go forward. Okay. A little bit more and we'll be back home in approximately... oh no, we already skipped it. Okay. Here, I think, is home. It looks like it. Colors are a little bit... actually, where is the red? Why is there no... oh wait, is that because I multiplied the... oh no, that's why, of course. Because I just straight up eliminated the red. And that hurts my eyes a lot. So let's go and change that a little bit. Yeah, let's use distance. So we have the... let's see, where are you? We have the fract, so let's go and have this be a length. And hopefully that is compatible with... I know we need to make a vec3. So again, just little things like that, you know. And we need to divide it, of course. Or we could just go and do this and then just divide 0.1 times that. No, bad idea. 1 divided by... still a bad idea. Hit position, and let's go... refraction that, and then we subtract by vec3, 0.5. Well, that's... bad? Right now. Should be the fraction hit position, then we subtract 0.5. Let's make sure 0.5, 0.5. Plus? Oh, I thought... no, something has to be wrong with that. Anyway, let's go and change this back to... oh... that was blinding. Again, you can kind of see the structure, but I need to find a good way to... Now, let's ignore all of this, and let's just use light 1. Oop. Light 1. And it can't be a sunlight. So we can see that... no, the light is just acting very odd. Let's return the fractal to a more stable version. Go and do that, and turn down this part again. That, do a bit of that. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Head back over that. Which way is the camera supposed to go? Yeah, there we go. Again, we can go and throw the fractal. I think if the fractal is inside of... or the light is inside part of the fractal, it acts a bit weird. Yeah. The light position. That it's under or over? What is there? What is, what's its deal? It's not showing up correctly. Maybe it's just the way I coded it, but it's, yeah, acting a little bit weird. You to be back to like 25. Maybe a bit there. Surface scattering. Oh, if we turn it up a lot, we get a very cool looking effect here. Now that is a VR background. A very sterile VR environment, if I ever saw one. Okay. So, another thing I can do is just hit a nice reset on the thing here, and we're back to the basics. And I just eliminated that. Okay. So I think what's wrong here is that I toned down, again, since the fractal is repeating infinitely up, I think that's warping some of the results. Yeah. So it seems like the light is colliding whether it's positive or negative. So the stuff up top is like casting a negative light on all of it, which is not great, to be honest. Let's go back over to here. I'll read the chat again in just a second. Yep. Oh, by last comment I meant the star thing, not the 2 days old. Ah, okay. Let's see. Are you going to share the project file for this? Probably not, because I'm still very much a noob with Touch Designer. I am loving it. Again, learning other programs is good because... Oh, whoop, let's go and move that back. Because it's like, oh, what if I need a backup career if 3D stuff falls out? And it's like, oh, I could just do real-time 3D procedural stuff with code. So it's fun. But I probably won't be sharing it. Again, this is fun little experiments. I haven't taken to another 3D program this well in a long time. Like Houdini, I would use it, but it just didn't quite click, while this one just clicks. And again, with Houdini, not bashing it, it's still amazing. I just find geometry nodes faster and just more convenient. But with this one, it's just like, oh, it just clicks, and I don't know why. Again, I've only done like a little bit of GLSL in the past, but now actually learning it, it's like, oh, it's so simple, at least in the beginning. Rather easy to get into. On the lights on the inside, whoa, that's cool. It spends so much just exploring these fractals. But I will save that for later. So we are at 41 minutes right now, which I think may be a good time to start wrapping things up. Let's go and make, you know, add in a little bit more subsurface scattering. That's beautiful. So we can go, oh, that is amazing. Look at that. If I can actually put this into there we go. Very, very nice. Like, look at that. Beautiful. Just need to find a good way of coloring the fractal parts. I was going to say you had your stream open while working in Blender and it crashed and the sound was glitching, so it scared me. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Take some sort of ambient occlusion. That would make the geometry really apparent. Yeah, I forgot how to do that. Is it just by counting, like, the ray steps? Just by putting in the, like, distance origin into there? Because that one is... would that just work? I'll divide it by 100 just in... Oh. Crap. Again, it has to be a back 3. You need to convert it manually, which is so much fun. Yeah, no, that's the distance from the camera. Which actually, that's pretty cool as well. Could fraction that, but whenever you fraction ray marching, especially because it likes going into infinity, usually doesn't look too hot. Do I square root this? So, root. And for those of you who are wondering, oh, how does he just know all the functions? It's because I have a cheat sheet on the side where I have every GLSL function, almost all of them, like just the vector math functions there, so that I can just look over and see, oh, do I have that? Oh yeah, let's go and bring that over here. Because that's what just feels better compared to... Yeah, I could use this as a fog. So if I just get, light 1, yeah, it's not plural, then multiply it by that, I can get, or no, we want to add. Here, let's just add some nice fog to everything. So that is a lot more than I was hoping for, so let's go and reduce that. We don't want it to be square rooted. I think I wanted it to maybe be the power of 2. Let's go and lower that. So it does do that. It's okay. It's all right, but not as good as I was hoping for. So let's go and eliminate that, and then just leave it like that, because that again looks cool. We can modify a good amount of this. Ooh, I quite like that. Then we can do stuff like that. Yes, yes. Cool. So again, just tons of, oh, nope, let's, oh, well, we got that. I need to fix the camera. Ah, great. Looks like this would be a part of my nightmares. So, yeah, let's go and try to reset a bit of this. At least on the vertical side, because the vertical side seems to mess with the everything the most. Again, we got all this running. Let's go and switch this to be a light once more. Light 1. Let's go and bring you into, yep, right here. So yeah, how do we get ambient occlusion with ray marching again? Because I'm pretty sure it's like tracing how many steps it has to take. But then again, like just having a value go up by 1 every single ray march step, and then outputting that. Because I could try implementing that, if that's the way to go. Because here it's like a shadow, but it also seems to, no, it is just a shadow. Or we actually need the AO. What GPU do you have? I have a RTX 3060. No, something is up with the lighting when it collides. Yeah, I wonder what's wrong with that. Backwards. All right, that's backwards. There we go. It's always like, which way does this, do the orientations go again? But if I can get a nice controller set up, I can use that in many other projects. Let's go and move the light position again. We're moving that up, we're moving it over. So yeah, something is screwed up with the light, because it should not be doing that. Few issues, but for the most part, it's okay. Okay. We are closing in on an hour, but yeah. Have you used Cursor as a text editor yet? I really enjoy its GUI. I don't know what that is. Is that like the AI thing? Because if so, no. You should check out the ray marching toolkit called RayTK. I probably should. Probably would make a lot of this easier if it just, you know, if there is a library for it. Why does that happen? Would be wrong with the lighting. Ray march. We get the position, the light direction. Both those are good. Oh wait, is it because... No, the light direction is accurate. That part's fine. The light direction's fine. In theory. Fractal, yeah, no, and that should be fine. Distance 2, which is... Distance 2. That offset? Because I would... No. Oh, no, that's just a placeholder value to reset all that. Okay. So again, in the ray marching function, I mean, I could just make it so that there's a value that equals I every iteration. Or is I contained in there? I forget. It's been, you know, a long time since I've actually coded something worthwhile. So I could just add another out, which is... comma... AO. And then with this one, AO could equal... And do I do that last, or... No, how would I do that properly? Do I just, like... Actually, let me... I'll figure that out off-stream. Let's go and Control-Z that before it leads to an error. So yeah. So this is the project. Again, Touch Designer has been a blast so far. So many cool things, and it's real time, even though at 1080 by 1080, it does make my GPU work quite a bit. Yeah, maybe there's some parts that can be more efficient. Like maybe just if I tried this in Shader Toy, just copy the code into there. it would be much faster. That would be cool. Is it possible to hash all the branches into a random color? In theory, yeah. I would just need to look into that. Because, to be honest, I don't exactly know how to... It's been a while since I've ray marched properly. But making it so that a value... Yeah, making it so that a value hashes on each part individually, it should be possible. Just have to remember, and then I would just need to output that as a color value. Alright. So again, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this little experiment. Let me go and make it a bit more detailed. There we go. And I hope you all had a great time. I'll see you next time. And it'll be Blender stuff next time, but this was too good to miss out on. Alright, see ya.